They are two of the main characters of the Peacock series, Vampire Academy. I'd like to welcome Kieron Moore and André Kim to Sidewalks Entertainment. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Yeah, there we go.
So before we talk about Vampire Academy, let's talk a little bit about you. Kieron, how did you start your career as an actor, and was acting something you always wanted to do?
Great question. I've always loved and appreciated film and TV, and acting has always been a special emotional connection to great performances. But I boxed all my life. I was always told I was going to be a boxer. My dad was my coach, and that was my life for a long time. I did a play in primary school. I remember being like, I like this, and my dad was like, you don't want to act, so you want to box, and that was it. That was gone. That was done with. So I boxed until I was like 21. Yeah, I did a little bit of modeling in front of a camera, so I knew I could be in front of a camera. And then when I finally decided that I just didn't love boxing anymore, I'd done it for too long, and yeah, I kind of lost that zest. It's like, what do I want to do with my life? And I was like, I always wanted to act. Always wanted to act. So about 3 years ago, I joined an acting class that was once a week on a Thursday after I finished work in my day job.
Oh my gosh.
And then yeah, I met my mentor, Mark Hudson, who has honestly changed my life, helped me in every sense of the word, and yeah, helped me stick to this path. And now here I am playing Dmitry Belikov on a TV show. There is fighting vampires, like, you know, don't get much better than
That's
that.
awesome.
Thank God you did that choice.
Yeah, thank God, yeah.
That's awesome. That is actually very amazing, because, you know, you got to do you've been doing what you love. I mean, you loved boxing, and you've been doing that for all your life, and then now you're doing acting, another thing that you love. That's amazing.
Yeah, interestingly, like, I definitely learned some things from boxing that I've carried over to acting. There's a discipline there, so yeah, it's been great.
So, André, fans remember your role as Winston Chu in the teen drama series Degrassi, The Next Generation.
Yeah.
So, looking back, how would you describe what your experience was like working on that show?
It was like my first time, right? So like you always remember your first
Yeah.
very. And I was so young. I was like 16 when I started on that show,
Really?
which is like, yeah,
Oh, wow.
crazy to think about.
Wow.
I'm like 10 years older now, so it's been like a decade. So wow, I can't believe it's been a decade now that I say that. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think your first time, there was a perfect starting ground, because like, first of all, the days would go from like 6 a.m. and always end at 7 p.m., which, you know, after 4 years of that and like going on to other shows, I'm like, why are we up at 3 a.m.? I want to go to bed. But everybody was just so helpful. You know, they were like, by the way, like, these are how you set on your marks. These are the kind of like shots that we're doing. And they really showed you the ropes for your first bit. And they really understood that, like, we were all like kids. That was Degrassi's big thing. Like, they pulled actual kids from high school, like, who were actually that age, and the show. So they understood that, and they understood that this was, for a lot of us, our first job. So it was a great hand-holding experience into the world of film and TV. So I remember it very fondly, and it has really helped me out for like the rest of my roles out here.
That's amazing. Wow, 16. That's actually really cool. Like So the Peacock series, Vampire Academy. Kieron, you play Dmitry Belikov, a lethal bodyguard and guardian to the ruling vampires / Moroi. What has it been like playing this character so far? And did your background in boxing help contribute to your role as Dmitry?
So first of all, it's an absolute honor to play this character. I know he's deeply cherished by a lot of people, especially the book fans, which of course comes with its own challenges, but there's a deep love and respect there from me as well. I really try to be attentive and considerate and compassionate by my approach to Dimitri, because he was pretty intimidating for me to take on, I'll be honest. Yeah.
You do so well, though. You play the role so well.
Yeah, tell
Appreciate
him.
that. I appreciate that. I guess it's so subjective, and I think for me, this is my first time watching myself back, you know, so that was an interesting experience for me. It's the first time I've ever done a close-up, you know, so it's like there's a whole lot of new things for me here, which I will learn from. But Dimitri as a character, is going to stay with me forever, regardless of what happens with the show. I miss him now. Like, there's parts of me that like I grew up in that role. I've matured in that role, and I owe that to sort of that experience of him. But yeah, I was just so invested in the man underneath all that, you know, like the militant, the lethal, disciplined guardian is what he's been bred to be. I spent a lot of my time finding that what's underneath that. When Dimitri's not, just because he's not talking, what does he want to say? What is he thinking? What is he feeling? And that was really just so fulfilling for me as an actor. And then the boxing side of things made me confident in regards to, I know fighting was going to be a massive part of his role, which for me was something that I kind of clung to a little bit. I got a little bit possessive with the fighting, so I thankfully my stunt double trusted me, so I did all my own fights because I felt like a massive part of Dimitri's personality comes across in them fights, you know, and that was something I enjoyed very much, and we trained really hard for it. And I was allowed to incorporate bits of my boxing, but not too much, because at the same time, as much as I got that experience, that's Kieron's experience, you know, that's me, that's what I can colour this role in. But ultimately, I wanted to find how Dimitri moves, and again, his incorporations of me and his incorporations of Oscar, who is amazing. Oscar was our choreo for all of our fights, and he's a genius. But yeah, just other than that, just an absolute pleasure to play him, and hopefully we can continue to play him for.
And listen, he's being humble, but we are like, I think we're lucky to have him as our Dimitri. I mean, you are so well thought, and I know like this is your like, you know, one of your earlier stuff that you're doing. This is like new for you and everything, but I mean, his process, I don't want to go into your process, but the fact that you even have a process at this stage is just great. He's so well thought. He's a hard worker. He's very cordial, makes everything.
You're gonna make me blush. This is like my best. We're obviously best friends. You know?
Just too humble.
That is so
sweet.
We met on that first night in Madrid, and we've been
steaks over
steaks in Madrid.
Yeah.
Thank you. You guys are so great. So one last question before we run out of time. André, your character is Christian Ozera, who is Royal Moroi, but he's somewhat of an outcast because of his parents' past wrongdoings. How would you describe Christian's personality and his attitude towards his peers? And what do you enjoy most about playing this character?
I would say that his attitude towards his peers is, you know, the funny thing I always say is that like, he's such a kind soul at the end of the day. Like, I think a lot of position would be very jaded with the way that he's treated, but I think he really does, even if he doesn't know it himself, I think he does try to find the best in people. And when he does, you know, he might not come at it in a way that's like, hi, I think you're really nice, and I'm going to find the best in you. But I think he has his own self-protected way of like meeting people. And I think he's really, he really does, like, you know, he makes some really, really great relationships throughout this story of our first season. And my favorite part about playing him was just the complexity, the layerness of him, like the amount of different things that he has to deal with emotionally and mentally and even physically throughout the show is just like really, really, like, as an actor, it's like a dream job. And, you know, shooting fire is really fun.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I had such a great time speaking with both of you guys today. I love both your characters. You guys are fantastic. Sadly, we are out of time, but thank you so much for taking time to speak with me today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Have a lovely day.
You guys take care. Bye.
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 Everyone, be sure to watch Kieron Moore and André Day Kim in the series Vampire Academy, now streaming on a Peacock.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit us at sidewalkstv.com, our YouTube channel, and don't forget to follow us on social media.